If there's one thing Hollywood loves, it's a good comeback story.
Okay, I'm just gonna stand here and take this all in.
Whether it be a once famous actor who fell on hard times or the small budget to box office smash, the film industry sees more comeback stories than you might realize. What is it about a triumphant return that resonates with the film-going public? And what exactly does it take to strike gold? Nostalgia plays a pretty significant role, of course. Look at the renewed spotlight on history maker Rita Moreno.
I can't believe it! Good Lord!
After winning the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress in 1962, she faded into obscurity. That is, until Spielberg's West Side Story. To re-enter mainstream consciousness for a role in the very property she'd won an Oscar for 60 years later? Talk about a story. Comebacks are all about watching people we've admired re-emerge and rise to the esteem we've personally held them in. There's also a sort of tragedy in squandered potential. In the case of those like Robert Downey Jr., for instance, watching actors who have fallen from grace rise once again reminds us of the importance of second chances and new opportunities. The 2023 awards season has proven last year was certainly no exception, with some actors finally getting the accolades and opportunities they've deserved all along. Starting off our look into comeback stars is Brendan Fraser. His star power faded as the new millennium came. Until recently, it was never really clear why the Mummy and Encino Man star didn't act in anything major until the late 2010s. Once it was revealed in a GQ article that he was the victim of an assault from a high-level executive, was in physical pain due to multiple onset injuries over the years, and was passed over for the role of Superman in a canceled Brett Ratner film, Brendan Fraser spiraled into depression and self-doubt. Eventually, he began taking on supporting roles, and finally re-emerged fully in the cultural zeitgeist when he took on the role of Robot Man in DC's Doom Patrol. Thanks partly to his portrayal of the multi-layered, troubled, and regretful Cliff Steele in Doom Patrol, Brendan Fraser was able to showcase his acting talents and eventually land the leading role in 2022's The Whale. His performance as a reclusive father nearing the end of his life, trying to reconnect with his estranged daughter, while also dealing with the trauma of the loss of his true love, earned Fraser multiple nominations for many major awards.
Do you ever get the feeling that people are incapable of not caring? People are amazing.
After years of self-doubt and tribulations, it's clear that the one-time Mummy star is back on the rise and on his way to making one of 2022's biggest Hollywood comebacks.
Thank you.
This year's award season has been a pretty strong reminder that Michelle Yeoh's career has been full of everything everywhere, but certainly not all at once. One could argue Yeoh never really went away, rather, she's now receiving the recognition owed to her massively influential career. While the hollowed halls of the internet adore her story turns in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Crazy Rich Asians, Shang-Chi, and so much more, Hollywood itself has taken a little time to truly laud Yeoh. But it seems this reality is finally catching up. Time magazine named Yeoh Icon of the Year in 2022, noting her beginnings as an aspiring ballerina whose injury eventually led her to acting. Her massive success internationally led her to Hollywood, where she faced an industry notorious for dismissing and typecasting people of color. Enter Everything Everywhere All at Once. Taking on the role of Evelyn, a prickly, dissatisfied immigrant tasked with saving the multiverse, Yeoh's brilliant performance combines skillful martial arts with a vulnerable portrayal of aging, womanhood, motherhood, struggle, and so much more. Yeoh has candidly stated that she'd been encouraged to retire before landing the role of Evelyn, but the trailblazer knew she wasn't quite done, and now she's poised to become the first Asian woman to win Best Actress at the Oscars.
I still want to be here with you. I will always want to be here with you.
Yeoh hasn't returned. She's made her stance against the people who thought maybe it was time for her to fade away. Really, the surprise isn't that she's in the forefront of the awards conversation this year. It's that it's taken so long for Hollywood to get her there.
I can beat you up, okay? And that's serious.
The same can definitely be said of Yeoh's co-star, Ke Huy Quan. After notable roles in The Goonies and Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom as a child, Quan seemed to disappear after a handful of roles in the 90s. He's been upfront about the rejection he faced in Hollywood, and the surprise of it after working on such popular films. That pushed Quan to give up on acting.
For so many years, I was afraid that I had nothing more to offer.
Until Everything Everywhere, All at Once. Daniel Kwan, one of the directors behind the film, told Entertainment Weekly that, in fact, Kwan was the first they'd auditioned for the role of Evelyn's husband Waymond. There's been an echo in all of the press Kwan has done for Everything Everywhere, that while he thought Hollywood had forgotten him, there were so many people who felt represented by his work that had wondered where he'd gone.
如果有来生，我还是会选择和你一起报税，开始一天。
It's been a great comeback story, doubling as a searing indictment of Hollywood's historical abandonment of people of color. Now, however, Kwan has major projects slated for the near future. As a darling of award season, it seems Kwan has truly finally returned, and he is here to stay.
Thank you, thank you!
In a lot of ways, 2022 was a comeback for theater-going itself. A celebratory year full of in-person returns, new arrivals, and the resurgent careers of well-deserved actors like Fraser, Yeoh, Quan, and so many others. Awards certainly aren't the only markers of Hollywood success, but formal industry recognition is one way to correct the mistakes of the past. We said before that Hollywood loves a good comeback story. Now that they've returned, it's all the more exciting to see what these actors do next.
I leave you with that.